What's up? What's up? What's up?
What it
JG, we back in this thing.
Back here.
Back in this thing because we slanging the thing. Hold up.
Slang it.
Hold up. All right, that's the episode.
That
Episode
is.
4. Look good. 2. Episode 4.
Slanging it.
Slanging it. All right, so Dame was in here, and it was Dame, Faye, Cindy, and Jason.
Yep.
They kind of caught on pretty quick
Yep.
on what the title was as we were trying to get you guys to buy in. But before we get there, Jared, I do want to give everybody a shout out for tuning in for this whole series.
Absolutely.
The live chats has been great. I looked yesterday at some analytics of the last video. I think we're almost at 200 hours viewed. So
Nice.
that's awesome coming
Yep.
from, the small podcast of the Mean Green Show.
And I've been hearing good feedback too. I think a couple people came in and just said that they liked the titles.
The
and
titles.
Everything's been catchy, and the content actually behind the titles has been intriguing,
Yeah.
to say the least. So, I've been having fun with this one.
I think for me too, it's been fun to talk about. It's we'll have a title, we'll kind of know what we want to kind of lean towards, but then one question will lead to another, and then you look up, you've created this whole philosophy of why we do what we do. And at the end of the day, you're gonna know is we're just here to empower.
That's
And we
it.
just want to use our perspective, our journey to do that. So, Jared, how do we lead this one off?
Man, I like this episode because you know how sometimes y'all had those conversations in the room, and there's this elephant in the room, right? Like this thing that people want to talk about but don't really talk about.
Yeah.
That's today. Today we're knocking out that elephant in the room. So obviously, going through the podcast, we hit all of these
Yeah, man.
sexual titles, left, right. So everybody's like, oh, I can't believe he said that.
Yep.
Well, today, y'all, we talking about sex.
All right. So
We hitting y'all with it.
talking about some sex today.
Talking about it. Cause why? Fitness. Of course that leads into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I say this as I try to always put my disclaimers in before I say anything. Number 1, I'm going to get a haircut this Friday. All right, so if y'all worried about me looking like a chia pet, that's number 1.
Me
It's a
too.
disclaimer.
At the beach.
Disclaimer number 2, I'm not encouraging any sexual activities. All right.
Outside of marriage.
If you are, be safe in what you do.
Yeah.
But I will speak about a little of my experience here and there, depending on the questions that Jared give me. And disclaimer number 3, at the end of the day, we want you guys to be knowledgeable about what you do and what you don't do. And for me personally, I'm about to be really transparent on, I guess, acceptance of yourself. Because at the end of the day, for me, there's a way that I want to feel. There's a way I want to look. And I think part of that does come to some experiences that you have in life. So I'm going to start with Jared, man. Do you have anything you want to start with question-wise, or how do you want to dive into this?
I'll dive in. Let's tread lightly to start. So, what is your relationship currently within marriage? What is your relationship with working out, and working out as in keeping your body physically fit,
Yeah.
and your sexual relations?
All right. So I'm excited to see if Tina gets on this. And,
I know, right?
For me personally, I would be a liar if I don't lead with this. I still want Tina to see me and be attracted to me.
Yeah.
Period. Like, I joke around when I work out at the house. If her mom's over or Milton's over or even my little boys, I'll be like, all right, let me go work out because I want your mama to still like me.
Yeah.
So for me, I personally, that maybe that's that little Michael Jordan thing I put in my head. Like, he had things where he used tactics to golly, to inspire him to work out or to play hard in basketball games. I think I do that to myself working out when it comes to my marriage.
I got you.
I think I'm like, yo, I don't feel like working out today, but I don't want Tina, when I take my shirt off, when I get in the shower, I don't want her to be like, have you been working out? So for me, I will say that, Jared, that has been fuel for me. And we're going on 9 years this year in October. And that has been my motivation, is to stay attracted to my wife, to be honest.
Man, I love that. I'm not married, but I do, and I can admit that I found myself with, the people that I've been with. When I work out, obviously, it is for myself, but I do have that moment of I want to work out and look good, kind of on with you, right?
Yeah.
Like I want you to be proud of the man that you gotta, you know, basically be with.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, I have found myself in that, you know, that sexual light. Like, yeah, I want you to be proud of what you see.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily just happy or, you know, proud of me. You know, I want you to be proud. Like that's my man.
That's my man.
Yeah, yeah.
You look good.
So that's always been a goal of mine. So
Yeah.
it's cool that you say that even in marriage, like that's still
Yeah, man.
a goal.
I call it, for me, it's my shower moment.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I don't. Yeah, I guess golly, there's no way of like treading lightly on some of these subjects. So, like for me, I don't wait for Tina to get out the bathroom for me to jump into the shower.
Yeah.
Right. So, I would say in the last 9 years, I can remember one time she asked me something about working out.
So you can remember the one time she asked you.
I remember one time.
Now, has she asked you multiple times, or this is the one time she's ever asked you?
I think this is the one time.
And you remember it?
I remember it.
Dang, that thing hit deep.
It hit. It was last October, bro.
That's you changed your life.
So I'm straight up. Last October, if y'all remember, that's how I started different 10 pounds.
The fat pack.
And the fat pack.
I remember.
And that's exactly what happened. So sit up, Jay. So I'm walking by her. You know, I'm naked. So I'm walking to the shower. You know, you just, you know, you proud, right? So she walked by me. She like, oh. I was like, oh. And that was the first time I ever felt, oh. So, like, I was like, she was just like, all right. That's it. She didn't say, hey, you're getting big or where's your abs. She just kind of, oh, okay, big guy. And that inspired me to another level. I'm like,
She didn't call you big guy.
I think she did.
Dog.
I don't know if it was big guy. It had something to do with, like,
Oh, man.
yeah, it was something to, I don't know, was it big guy or, I remember the noise. It sounded like this. Listen, guys. I remember that, bro. And, man, it sucked. But going back to that, it inspired me to, like, she's still watching.
Yeah.
She's still attractive. And she wasn't saying that you're not attractive.
Yeah.
But the way I took it, and she can correct me if she's in the chat box, the
Yeah.
way I took it was, you're used to seeing something that you don't see no more.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I work out. Part of the reason why I work out is to look that way.
Yeah.
So.
Dang. That's real. She's tap to tap. Nah, I think that's super powerful, man. That lingered.
Yeah.
Y'all been married for how many years?
Going on 9 in October.
9 years.
Dated for 3 prior. And she gave me the tap. She gave me the tap to the pat.
It's funny. I just remember you actually having that mental shift. I think Jason might have said something to you, too.
Jason, everybody thought, I guess I was getting little victims.
But yeah, I remember you having that mental shift and basically having that whole transition into, all right, y'all, I need to do something different. So.
I called you, remember?
Yeah.
We talked on the phone. I was actually about to go into my uncle's service. And I sat there in front of Lakewood Church and talked to you about 45 minutes. Something had to change. So I'm saying that to say this to you guys. I'm not trying to be that guy that's like, no, nothing bothers me. No, that bothered the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't had I don't know if I had a honey bun since. Straight up. Like, I've had some Oreos, cookies.
Yeah.
But I dropped some things because I'm going to ask you this question. And then the reason why I'm going to ask him this question is because this is a big portion of why I want to look good slinging it. Right? Jared, how important is it for you to have confidence?
Confidence is everything, right? I don't know. That's the bottom line. Confidence is everything when it comes to how you speak, how you interact, how you move. It's everything. You just got off a business call not too long ago, and you could hear the confidence in your voice exuberate. So if you can definitely tell from a business meeting, like you think from that perspective. If you had that meeting and you didn't sound the way you sounded, somebody might not have bought into what you said as much, but you had that confidence, you had that belief in what you were doing and what you were saying.
Straight up.
And it attracts and brings other things around you. So I think confidence is that it gives you belief, not just for yourself but for others. So I think confidence is also contagious. When you're confident in yourself, other people can be confident in you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The reason why I say that and ask that, I've been able to start coaching little kids in basketball, and one of the things that I tell parents when I get to meet them in that first like orientation is, I'm here to empower your child, but I'm also here to inspire their confidence and protect it. And I think that's everything. So for me specifically, when Tina told me that, there were two ways I could have went about it. I could have let it spark something to build me, or it could have shut me down. Obviously, I'm going to choose to build.
Yeah.
But I'm not the man that y'all need me to be without confidence.
Absolutely.
So at that moment, like, I had to really fight mentally and emotionally, because if I don't feel confident slinging it, like, if I can just be real with y'all,
Yeah, straight up.
am I going to be confident as a leader at Mean Green? Am I going to be confident as a brother or as a father? Like, I'm probably going to lack in some things. I truly believe that the way you are with one thing is the way that you are with most things. So for me, some people could have overlooked, oh, man, maybe I am gaining a little weight. Maybe I am getting a little older. For me, I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to get back to the basics.
Yeah.
I'm about to move my body. I'm about to eat cleaner. I'm about to be more aligned to the way my body feel. I'm about to stop procrastinating, stop making excuses. And because of that, I have the confidence that I had today on that business meeting.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have that confidence, dang, life would suck. So that's why I asked you that. How important is confidence?
I think I know another note with that. I feel like it transfers from the bedroom to your life.
Absolutely.
All the way through.
Absolutely.
If you're timid there, right? If you're not confident there, then I feel like that, like you said, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. I feel like there's a lot of different areas where you might be timid.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I'm just talking to you about some of the moves I'm trying to make where I felt like, hey, bro, like,
yeah,
make that jump, do that,
Yeah.
do that thing. So, you know, if I'm not that way there, why am I that way in other areas? So that essentially, I just believe when it comes to really having the confidence in yourself and confidence in slinging it, looking good naked, I think of, you know, body confidence and how that transfers throughout your life.
Yeah.
Like, I have no reason not to be confident.
Absolutely.
So be confident there, be confident here. You want that to transfer all the way across, but it does, you know. That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
Confidence is just everything.
This is one of the moments in our podcast where it goes to where we didn't think it was going to go.
Yeah.
Right? So confidence is such a key component of what we do in everything, right? From mind, body, spirit. So as we think of hard and soft, that was episode number 1. Episode 2 was the Minuteman.
Yep.
And episode number 3 was last week.
Yeah.
That was a funny one.
I know. I always remember.
Golly. Hard or soft. Minuteman.
And
For some reason, I want to think Viagra.
Because that's kind of what it, no. I
Golly.
corrected you on the title, too. I remember.
I cannot remember it. Hard or soft.
My memory's so bad.
Hard or soft. Minuteman. And for some reason,
the size matter.
the size matter. There you go. All right, let's combine all that together. For a nutshell, remember last episode I talked a little bit about why it's important to do it and is it worth it to do it. So for me personally, one of my 5 top love languages is, what do you think, Jared? Not that you would know.
Physical touch.
He doesn't know, guys. If he was guessing, physical touch, right? So, how happy would Chris be without physical touch?
Probably not very.
Right? My tank would be empty.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us, this is where I'm going, segue into, is a lot of us operate based upon what doesn't fuel us. Like, if I'm confident because the way I look when I'm slanging it, right? Why would I not work on the way that I look because it gives me the confidence that I want?
Yeah.
The question that I have for us, to be really real, how many of us operate in what doesn't encourage us or empower us? I would be a mad man every time y'all saw me if I didn't get my love language.
Yeah.
My question for you is, how many of us are operating and you're not getting what you desire, and it's really ricocheting everything else that you want to accomplish in life?
That's real. A lot of things to take into account with that, I think, as well. Settling, right? Comfortability. There's a lot of things that go into, if your answer was yes, if you are thinking about that question and you do have scenarios that pop into your brain when he says you're living in, you're settling, basically, right? Doing things that aren't giving you what actually fills you up.
Yeah.
Right? You go into let's say you get premium gas, you're going to a gas station that only has regular, right? So that's kind of something to consider with that. So I don't know. I just like that. I like that analogy.
I want to try to do this, and it might take me a couple moments to think of it. So if you have to cut me off, J Money, cut me off. I want to connect with the person that said yes.
Okay.
Like, what am I not doing, and it's affecting my overall goal? Used to be sleep. I've gotten better at sleep. What is Chris Green not doing that affects him? I'm going to throw this out there. I think that I don't create enough time to spend with my dad.
Okay.
Because my overall, if y'all go back episodes ago, is to spend time with my loved ones. Like, man, I honor and love my dad so much. And I wonder at times what is being affected when I don't do what I need to do when it comes to quality time with my father. Out of curiosity, Jared, how would you help me? If I said, man, I need to spend more time with my dad, I just need to create more time with my dad, and could that potentially be affecting something else?
I think anytime we have conviction and that feel that we need to be doing something that we're not, it does affect everything else, because you'll always have that in the back of your head. I need to be doing X, Y, Z. So I would definitely say act on what you feel, because if you don't, then you leave that behind and it affects everything else you're doing. So yeah, that would be the first piece of advice on that. Second thing would be to understand. I understand this for myself, and I'm pretty sure you do as well. You don't gotta be 3 hours.
That's it.
It don't gotta be 3 hours. If you get that fulfillment of, okay, I've put in the effort and I've done what I needed to do by spending 10 minutes with your dad a day.
Yeah.
As long as you get that fulfillment, and as long as you're building and doing what it is you need to do to achieve that conviction that you feel.
I like that. So let's bring this in with these guys, right? Because we're tying in Slinging It and other things. But if we go back to working out, right, if 4 times a week is back up. Me seeing my dad is equivalent to them working out 4 times a week. We're busy. Does the workout have to be an hour long? Do you have to have a yoga session prior to you showing up to the gym? Did you have to feel like working out that day? Can you work out even though you had a bad day? Like, all these things play a huge factor of you producing. And at the end of the day, if one of my goals in life is to spend time with people that I cherish and that I love, somehow, some way, we got to fulfill that. Because if you don't, it puts you in a position of not being happy.
Yeah.
So, Jared, going back to you, what does that look like for, and we'll tie this in back with sex and everything else, but what does that look like for the person that's not doing what they need to do, but they know they should do it, but they're not doing it?
I say that the moral compass is a mofo.
Okay.
Conviction is you going against your morals. That's my belief, right? Like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm not doing it. And that boils down to discipline.
Okay.
That's the bottom line.
Okay.
Because if you know what you're supposed to be doing and you're simply just not doing it, you're just undisciplined.
I like that.
To that person, get your ish together.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to be more disciplined. Get your ish together. So there's not more to say to kind of I can't beat around the bush with that one, because because if you know what you're supposed to be doing, then I would say your morals are correct. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm taking this to y'all watching this right now thinking we were gonna be talking about, you know, sex the whole podcast and this and that. If you out of the club and, you know, a woman comes up to you or a man and you want to throw yourself at them, you know whether you should be doing that or not. Morally, you're like, maybe I shouldn't be, but you know, you get all fired up and you're undisciplined, and it happens. You're on a weight loss journey. You're in a store, you pass by, you know, this cookie that you like or this pint of ice cream that you like, and you're like, oh, I hadn't had that in a while. Your discipline kicks in because you're walking by, you're like, but it's gonna mess up your morals are right. You know you shouldn't be doing it, but so to that person, discipline is gonna be everything.
Conviction is a mofo. But I mean, how else do you learn? You know, without conviction, I don't believe sometimes there's no growth. Yeah. And it's interesting to say that because we all want to look a certain way and we all want to be confident. But the thing that this might sound funny. Yeah, I think I'll say it. Screw it. It's going to be a question.
Okay.
To you.
Oh.
We want to feel a certain way. We want to look a certain way. And we want to produce a certain way. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I really want to open up and connect with someone is, what if they do want to look a certain way and feel a certain way and achieve a certain thing, but they ain't slanging it? Think about that. Because some people say, hey, man, I might be waiting to marriage. I may be waiting to whatever the reason, right? Or they just don't have that significant other. Do they still work out? So the question I have for you, because I'm going to go somewhere with this. I'm going to tie this in with something. What happens if someone is saying, yeah, Jared, I get it, but I ain't getting it. And since I ain't getting it, why do I need to be working out? What would your response be?
This all boils down to, dang, this question is the type of all the things we talked about in our podcast.
Oh, snap.
It's just it's so loaded because we talked about working out for you, right? Mm-hmm. But then we talked about how people, regardless of you working out for you, a lot of the times it ties back to our biological makeup of wanting, you know, a mate. So it's just such a loaded question. But to that person, man, I think it's just so important to understand. I'm a religious man. Mm-hmm. I believe in God's timing, right?
Okay.
When it comes to the situations you're put in, the things that present themselves in your life. So my answer is a little bit more spiritual. God's timing. So
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Don't force yourself, you know, into something or feel like, you know, you've been forgotten about or there's nothing out there for you. But I do believe the second you decide you're going to stop working on you and stop doing things that are going to make you better and give you confidence, it's the second you decide like you're giving up on any good man or woman or person that's out there for you. Because if you can't go to them at your best, like that's what it boils down. So yeah, they might not be here now. Yeah, you might not have found your husband, your wife, your partner. You might not have found them yet. But don't you want to be at your best when you do?
Yeah, I like that.
So
I like that. It's a guy named Tony Robbins. I love what he teaches, and I think y'all can quote me on this one, but double check. I think he had at least 2 marriages, and I think the second book, I want to say that he taught a segment on taking care of your body and why it's important. And he was really transparent. He said that with his first wife, they loved each other, and at some point he started really getting in shape, really taking care of his body, really focusing on his breathing and his mentality and his spiritual side of him. And he noticed that, let's just say, I don't remember the number, but let's just say he was 50 pounds overweight and she was 50 pounds overweight. And then he took care of his body and he became the man that he wanted to be. He was 50 pounds less. He was more confident. He had more success. And he realized that he was selling for what he really loved versus what he really wanted. And it was because he wasn't the person that he wanted to be. And in a long story being drawn into a very short one, don't get ready, be ready.
Yeah.
Right? So I think as he continued to discuss it, he probably would have met the love of his life who he's with now if he would have been ready versus trying to get ready. So the reason why I even say that, Jared, is not necessarily a sexual thing. It's more so sometimes people want to start working on what they desire when it's there. And my question is, are you going to really attract what you really want if you're not there? So it's easy to use man and woman as an example. I want to attract Tina, so I want to be there physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. So when I meet her, not only can I attract her, I can keep her.
Yeah.
The question for all of us to kind of really dissect for a little bit is not the spouse, the loved one that you desire, but like what are other things you want to achieve in life that you potentially are not ready for? Let's have a little fun with this one. All right. You ask me one, I ask you one. You ask me one, I ask you one. So it'll be so organic. They know we don't plan for any of this, but it'll be good. Besides a mate, Jared, what's something that you want to achieve in life? Just a quick answer, and then you ask me the same thing.
Gym owner.
Gym owner. My turn. You ask me.
What's something you want to achieve in life besides outside of fitness?
Outside of fitness, golly, you took it a step.
I did.
Okay. Outside of fitness, I want to travel with my family.
Okay.
What's something outside of fitness that you want to achieve?
I want to travel the world. I want to go overseas.
Okay. My last one.
Surprises. Outside of fitness, the things you've talked about on this podcast have been fitness. You talked about religion. You talked about family. Outside of those three major things, what's something you can think of?
I want to create a nonprofit. Excuse me. I Am Alpha is the nonprofit. I want to use I Am Alpha and teach and empower, starting off 100 different men a year to see something that they've never seen before. All right. I don't know if anybody did this down below, but it would be so cool if somebody chatted down below and said something that they want to achieve besides a mate. All right, you ready for this?
I don't know.
Let's have some fun with this one, okay? The first thing you said was own a gym.
Yeah.
All right. So what's interesting about business, sometimes it's so plain and simple when you talk business, but I'm curious on what's your reaction and what people would think of it. All right, so you want to own a business, all right? Excuse me, you want to open up your first facility. We know that it takes a couple things. What do you think it takes to open up a first gym facility?
I don't know if I'm going to answer it the way you
No, go. Whatever you got.
The couple things that it takes to open up a facility.
Correct.
Obviously, clientele. Like, you need people to come through the gym. You need a building. And I know the overhead that comes with opening the gym. You obviously need that cash flow. So
all right,
those would be the two things. You need a building and you need people.
Building and people to open up a gym. All right. So when you talk about people, clients, customers, how do you, just quick spitball, how do you get customers and clients before opening a gym?
How do you get them? Marketing.
Marketing. Give me some more.
We just talked about it. Systems and softwares to get people in.
Perfect. And the other one was a building.
Yep.
All right. So when you talk building, it can be studio and a storefront. It can be brick and mortar, like a warehouse. What would you want?
To open up a gym? If it's Mean Green Studio.
Studio. Okay. Do you have a square footage?
Yeah.
What do you think?
3,000.
3,000.
List.
All right, so let's plug all this in together, Jared. So this is my whole philosophy. I'm gonna go wash out on this one. This is my whole philosophy, and this is my whole thing of why not to get ready once it's there, but to be ready.
Yeah.
So if you need clientele, what happened if you didn't train at Mean Green, or you wasn't doing personal training, or you wasn't even in the fitness game? You were just on social media looking at everybody else and what they're doing.
Yep.
But then opportunity knocks. Maybe you get somebody that says, hey, I want to invest in what you say you want a gym? Cool, I want to invest. And you say, oh, cool. Well, they say, well, you got any kind of following? And you say, oh, no, I'm going to start an Instagram tomorrow. Are you ready for that?
No.
All right. Second thing, it was gym and what was the other one? It was, it was customers and it was another one. Building.
Yep.
Someone said, hey, Jared, I want to give you $1 million to start your own gym. What side of town? What size building? 5,000 or 20,000? Well, Jared, why would you want a 3,000 square foot building versus a 10,000 square foot building? As an investor, you get a whole bunch of how much money do you really want to invest?
Yeah.
And the reason why I say those things, and okay, now you ask me, we're gonna do it, and then I'll tie it together. Did you see what I did?
Yep.
All right, go for it. Which one you want to talk about?
Traveling with your family.
All right, go. What was it? What would be the question? I love this type of stuff, guys.
One, what's stopping you?
All right, what's stopping me? I'm gonna tell you because I am part of a lot of different things that has to be executed by me.
Why do they have to be executed by you?
Because I want it done right.
Okay.
This is good.
Yeah, this is good.
This is good.
I feel like when a parent raises a kid, do they live their kid's life?
No, they shouldn't.
Why?
Because it's not their life. You can kind of guide them, teach them, but you can't do it for them, right?
Exactly. So I guess my question to you is, with business, with everything that you started, I feel like it's your kid, and you've been raising it for 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you think you have gotten a business to a point where you trust what you've done to execute, or you've built what you've done to execute so that you can do what you need to do with your family?
Love it, right? So we got a solution, right? From systems, CRMs, developing people. Then we go to Jared's side, right? From who, what, when, where, how, where we want to be, why we want to be there, how many people does it take, how much money do you need to save. It's like we know what we need to do to put ourselves in position to look good, to slang it, right? Because, again, I didn't want to just relate this just to physical activity.
Absolutely.
I want to also relate this to other things.
Uh-huh.
How many of us are missing out on opportunity because we're not ready? We're still trying to wait to get ready, right? One of my favorite things, I hear my dad say this at church: don't come to church, don't come to your belief to get, he said, don't come, golly, got too excited. My dad would say, don't work to get ready to come to church to get ready, right? So it's the same thing with fitness. Like, if somebody says, Jared, I'm gonna come work out with you when I finally get in shape, it's like, no, you come to me to get in shape, right? So my question to you guys, right, how many of us are prolonging our success because we're not putting ourselves in position to find the solution, right? Pick one in the gym, boot camp, personal training. What do you get a response of, or what do you hear typically they want to achieve?
Weight loss.
Weight loss. Besides working out, what's the number one thing they'll probably comment down below and say they struggle with?
Oh, diet.
Diet. All right.
100%.
You want this part, or you want me to keep going?
Keep going.
So my whole thing with this, for us to say that, hey, for me to look good slanging it, for me to be confident, for me to achieve the success that I know I can achieve, why would I not put myself in position to prepare for the opportunity versus just saying I'm going to try to prepare when the opportunity comes? Like, it sounds crazy when you and I was probably talking back and forth, and they probably like, Chris, you should be doing this, and Jared, you should be doing this. But now when we relate it to food, when we relate it to us to be healthy and look a certain way and feel a certain way, like, what's really stopping us? Are you really trying to say, as crazy as this may sound, Jared's going to open his first Mean Green gym when he starts saving money? You probably say, Jared, you not already saving money? Jared will open a gym when he finally figure out what side of town he wants to go on. You think they would be like, man, Jared, you're crazy. You want to open a gym, you don't even know what side of town you want to be on? Yeah. As your coach, as your trainer, I think it sounds interesting that you telling me that for you to finally be prepared to look and execute the way that you want to execute, you got to look the way you want to look. Because the difference is you're not going to look 100 pounds less until you start working on being 100 pounds less. But a lot of us don't want to work until we finally look it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just interesting that we relate success outside looking in other people's life as, oh, you should be doing this. But we should really examine what are we really struggling with and what's really holding us back. Because it's really nothing but ourselves.
I wrote that, man. And I just go back to a lot of the things that I've heard. Like you said, one of the big things we hear as trainers is, I'm gonna go. I need to get in a little bit better shape before I come out there and work with y'all. Or I need to do X, Y, Z before I come out there and work with y'all. Or when they start, next week I'm gonna start my first class and I'm gonna start eating right. For some reason, that has to be in line for people. For some reason, they have to start eating right and working out on the same week. And I just obviously went to lifestyles. I don't understand why that has to be. Like, same thing for you. I understand, there's steps to take to open a gym. But there are certain things that I don't think have to be in line in order for me to start making moves at other things.
Absolutely.
Right? I don't have to have income, or not income. I don't have to have
savings,
600 million followers, or this big savings, or all of that stuff to start looking at buildings and property. Right? I don't have to have that to start doing that.
Absolutely.
If I'm looking at property, I don't have to have, what I don't. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. There are these pieces that don't have to be in place in order for you to start trying to get everything into place.
Absolutely.
So for you, like, if you're not eating right, you don't have to start eating right to start working out, and you don't have to work out
to start
eating
eating right.
Like those things aren't, they not have to happen, but for the big picture, for where we're trying to go to look good slanging it, you need to start.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Funny. That's funny. And the reason why I think it's really funny is hilarious to me, Jared, because when you talk about sex, it's like you really like, can I really don't want to.
Yeah.
Especially coming from me, it's kind of like, Chris, can you really say that? So I'm really trying to really tell y'all this in a way. But what's hilarious to me is that I can only say it.
You can only say it.
I'm going to zoom up when I say it. All right, Jared. You trust me?
I trust you.
As a man, as a human, you don't want to look good slanging it just one time. You want to look good slanging it all the time. Right? I'm not just speaking from Chris' perspective. Like,
Yeah.
I'm speaking from everybody. And I think when we look at the things that we want to achieve, it's not one thing that you do once great and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Tina hit my little fat pat that one time. Like, man, that put me in a position. Like, I'm trying to every time look a certain way, right? So I didn't do what I did for the next time for her to be like, oh, you got a six pack again, right? And I think at the overall overview of what you're going to achieve in life, you have to know that the things that you want to do is not just a one-hit wonder, man.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny because if you like slanging that thing, you don't want to slang it, Jared, just one time.
Absolutely.
You want to keep doing it. So for me to look a certain way and feel a certain way and have that confidence, I have to continue to build that consistently to be able to slang that thing. And now I'm thinking of the things that we want to achieve. I'm using sex as an example to pull you guys in. But, like, what are you doing just once and you're expecting the overall result, right? Like, what are you doing to – and I'm speaking to myself. I'm not telling, like, I'm just sitting on a throne of perfection because I'm the furthest thing from perfection. But I'm saying to the point of, like, if it's our body, like, you can't expect to go to the gym 1 week and expect the results that the girl across the gym looks like. She's been doing this for 6 years, right? Are you willing to do what she's done to look that way? We talked about The Rock.
Yeah.
Are you willing to do what The Rock's done to look like The Rock? He didn't just do one push-up one time to slang it to look a certain way. Like, for him to continue to slang that thing consistently, you got to be willing to do what he's done consistently. So I just think it's interesting because the times that I've had intimacy, right, I don't strive to do it once. I strive
to be the man.
to be the man all the time. But We're using sex as an example, Jared. What do you think when it comes to consistency and slanging that thing? Is that something that we have to look at from a standpoint of, man, am I doing this to do this for the long run, or am I doing this just to be a one-hit wonder?
Nah, yeah, I was definitely the long run. Cause how many of y'all? And I'm asking a personal question.
Oh snap!
How many of y'all had a bad experience
Slanging the thing?
slanging that thing, and that person, maybe called back or maybe didn't, right? Or maybe you got that nice person like, oh, it was okay.
Great job. You tried.
But when we talk about it, like, how did that make you feel, right? Like, you ain't want that experience again, more than likely, right? Just that one bad time. So consistently, I think you want to work towards always having a good time.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want this, okay?
Yeah.
You don't want it's okay. So, I do think consistency and performing at your peak is.
Do you think they commented down below and said they had
No.
one? No.
No.
Anybody brave enough?
No, I don't think so. I don't think y'all brave enough.
Man, hold on. Time out. I'm not gonna kick no boxers today, but I am gonna say everybody's had an experience where they was like, oh, I could have been a little better.
Absolutely.
I could have lasted a little longer. I could have held my composure a little longer. Right? But being funny with it, I think that's a unique approach, right? Because screw it, it's the Mean Green Show. People would do a lot of weird, crazy, extra stuff for intimacy. If you think about like our world that we live in, from pornography to what is it called when you have your own page? You have a page and people buy a subscription to look at your page.
You talking about that OnlyFans?
OnlyFans. You got OnlyFans. You have pornography. You have prostitutes. You have think of these extreme measures that people take to have that opportunity to slang that thing, right? Like, think about how and far people do what they do to be able to slang that thing. I'm trying to word this a certain way. Now think of what we really want to achieve. Are we really do we really want it as bad as we want other things? Because if you think about it, Eric Thomas, he always say, do you want success as bad as you want to breathe? Can I say it in a different way for this episode? Do you really want it as bad as you want
to slang it?
You know what I mean? Think about that. Like, people do the craziest things.
They really do.
To be able to slang that thing, but we won't be that consistent at nutrition. We won't be that consistent at being positive. We won't be that consistent at being resilient. We won't be that consistent at not giving up.
Yeah.
And I just think, we didn't really talk that much about triggers when it comes to the brain and your hormones, when it comes to sexual activity, and I know that plays a huge role of it. But I'm not going to lie. I wake up as a man. I feel Tina in the room. I wake up as a man. You kind of think of some things every day.
Yeah.
Right? And for a married man that is extremely happy, like, I wake up thinking about intimacy sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't go to sleep without thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it happens all the time. Like, it might not happen as an imam every hour to hour. It might not be that, Jared. But as a man that's married, I do think about it.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more likely it can happen.
Yeah.
Switch it. The more I think of the success of Mean Green,
Or it can happen.
the more I think about it, the more I'm going to establish, the more I'm going to produce, the more likely it will happen. The more I think of eating cleaner, you get where I'm going, guys?
Yeah.
So I just think that, man, put it in front of you more to put you in position to find success. And I just honestly feel like the good thing about slanging it is actually achievable. You know, the thing that you really want to achieve, the gym, traveling, and traveling with my family.
Yeah.
And I forgot the other one I said. Those are all achievable things. So
I want to dive into what you just said
Mm-hmm.
on a deeper level.
Oh,
I
snap.
think
Right when I thought we were done. We about to go there?
I think the cool
Oh, snap, I'm scared.
no, I think the cool thing about what you said is basically reshaping your thought process and understanding who
Absolutely.
you are as a person. So
Absolutely.
the reason I think it's so easy for us to want to sling it and people do some crazy things is because it's a passionate
Mm.
thing, right? Like you come into your peak of pleasure, like you're passionate with it, and that's beautiful. Uh, I feel like if you don't feel that way about it, then maybe you have a problem, right? Because
Mm.
that's your peak passion. For you and your career, I think it's important to find something that you are passionate about.
Mm.
And so this goes
I
back to
like
one of
that.
our job things. Like if you're just working a job and don't care about it, you're not gonna get that job your all. You're not passionate about it. But if you're passionate about something, i.e., mean green,
I get it.
eating right, keeping your body right. If you're passionate about it, you might do some crazy things for it. You might do
Yeah.
some things that people are looking at you like, what are you doing
Man,
that
that's
for?
good.
So
That's good.
the beautiful thing about that whole thought process is if you could be if you have it in you, if you're capable of being that passionate about slanging it, you are also capable about being that passionate for something else in your
That's
life,
real.
whether that's your career or whatever it is. So, for us
That's
being on this
real.
fitness podcast, I think is fitness, right? Gym ownership, changing lives, empowering people. Like we're passionate about that. We wake up, we'll do some crazy things. We won't sleep. We won't do certain things that people are looking at us like, what are
Yeah.
you doing that for? Because we're passionate about it. So I think if you can tap into that and really reshape your brain and your thought process as to the things that you are willing to do for the things that you're passionate about, if slanging it, if you can say, oh dang, man, I remember I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and
Right.
climbed out a window and went to. If you willing to do all of that,
That's real.
how many windows are you willing to climb out of to be successful in your career path? So that's important.
That's dope. I've done some crazy things, bro. And
You're the married man. I'm gonna let you talk about all of
well,
it.
see, he was talking about sexual activity. I was just talking about in general. You know, I had an incident I'm not going to talk to them about,
Yeah.
but I've talked to you about when it came to my kids. And
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah.
like, I went straight mean green mode for real, like, when it come to my kids, come to my mom or my siblings. Like, I remember when I was little, Jared, somebody threw a little, what's them little metal cars? Hot Wheels.
Oh, Hot Wheel, yeah.
Somebody threw one at Desi, cut her ear. I ran to 3 dudes, and why would you run up to 3? Like, but when it comes to your peeps, like when you so passionate, as you just said, man, you do some crazy things, and I've seen it even in fitness.
Yeah.
You've seen people. Dang, I'm gonna open this up. You've seen people starve themselves because they're so passionate to get to their goal. You've seen people overtrain themselves because they're so passionate to get to their goals. So it's just interesting that when you said that, it sparked something in me to encourage me because we do have it in us.
Mm-hmm.
We do have that excitement. We do have that consistency. Um, it's just kind of goes to where you want to put it,
Yeah.
or even to acknowledge that you do have it. We were talking off camera prior to this, and you were saying something that you was like, man, maybe I do have this.
Yeah.
And I was like, you think so? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, dang. So it had me, as you said, that it has me thinking like on different things that, man, I may not even know. So maybe let me acknowledge that so I can grow in that.
Yeah.
So I like what you just said is what I'm getting to. There's something inside of all of us, and we do some crazy things. But let's now make sure we focus on, if you want to win, slanging it, focus on what gets you to where you want to get so you can do crazy things to get to where you want to be. Healthy, crazy things, I should say.
That's real.
All right.
Drop some dimes on y'all just now. Love
Slanging it. Guys, man, Look Good Naked has been a series that we didn't know where or how this was going to go, but it's been eye-opening to me personally, Jared. It's been eye-opening to a couple conversations I've been able to have with you guys, whether it's social media or at the gym. But at the end of the day, man, I think I'm going to title this Sunday. I'm actually speaking in my church. We want to live to our full capacity. And, man, for me, I don't want to be limited to 50% of what I know I can produce.
Yeah.
Jerry, I don't want to be 30% of what I should be to my kids. Like, man, I want to be able to give them everything I can possibly pour out.
Yeah.
So when we use Look Good Naked as a series to break down different episodes, at the end of the day, we want you guys to live in full capacity. And I think that's been a perspective that I'm really excited about to journey in as I finish up 2023.
Love it, man. Well, I think this is it, huh?
That's it, man.
Good Naked part 2.
Part 2
in the books.
In the books.
What y'all got for us?
We need
Next
some
podcast idea.
We need some ideas.
Yeah.
What's some good
What do y'all
subject
wanna
titles?
hear? Y'all just heard us go through a four series episode. You know, we like to talk about things that are relevant to us, and we relate the things that are relevant to us to help you. But we would love to hear what's relevant to you.
Yeah. Because we're summertime now, depending when they're hearing and listening to this. Summertime, going into fall, finishing up the year. I'm just curious on, like, what excites them.
Yeah.
You know, what's needed. What's your biggest fears?
Yeah.
What's your biggest obstacles? What have you achieved? Maybe highlight more members.
That was fun.
We're always curious on what you guys think and what you guys need. So
Yep.
if you don't have nothing, man, that's it.
That's it. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Love y'all this Saturday, depending when they hear this. We have our big beach bash.
Can't wait.
We can't wait. Jared's going to have his shirt off. Christian's going to be wearing Speedos.
Christian is going to be wearing those Speedos.
It's going down. Anything else in the summer as we finish? I think that's all we have planned as of now.
That's all
for
right
the
now,
summer.
yeah.
So, all right, guys, we love y'all. Subscribe, comment, share.
We out.